Hello everybody, we'll get started here in about 15 minutes.
Late
Alrighty. Welcome everybody. Still got 5 minutes to go. Gonna play another quick song here as we wait for the team and Mr. Noah to join us, and we'll get things started soon.
We see you unmuted, Joe. Oh, Joe, I think Joe might be having some technical difficulties, so let's have him rejoin in a moment here. And we're giving our community members time to trickle in. Joe raising his hand. I got you, Joe. Hey, what's going on, Joe? Can you hear me?
Not much. I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. Excellent. Sorry, I literally just got off a plane and walked in the door. So good time on everything.
That's how it goes. Joe. Joe, are you going to be the main speaker today, or are we going to have other team members in here?
I was hoping for my CTO to come, but he is just completing a move. Sorry, my dog is just happy to see me. Hi. He's completing a move to Florida right now from Denver, and he's not going to be able to make it, unfortunately. But he'd like to do a subsequent one at some point.
Okay, so Joe, what we're going to do is I'm gonna start recording the AMA. I'll intro you, and then we can start talking about the Mandala ecosystem. But
Sure.
Before we do that, do you have any questions for me?
I don't think so. I'm pretty used to doing these things, so should be good.
Okay, fantastic.
Just gonna be a straight fire away questions, right? Type thing. And
so basically, I'm gonna have like high level questions for you. Obviously, if there are things that you want to interject with at any time, or if you want to like kind of go on a rant, for lack of a better term, about
Sure.
what you guys are doing in the future, Definitely go ahead and do so. This is your hour and some change to tell our community about what you guys are building.
Beautiful. Sounds good to me.
Sweet. Good afternoon, Whalecoin Talk community. My name is Noah. We are here with the Mandala ecosystem today. Representing their team is Joe. And Joe, before we get started talking about Mandala, I'm very excited for this one. Can you give us a quick background of who you are, how you got to be in the crypto space, and then we can start talking about what you're building?
Sure, no problem. My name is Joseph Reedman. Nice to meet you guys. Pleasure to be on here. Thank you, guys. How did I get into crypto? Early on, I started as a trader, really 2014, 2015 era in there. Got in early. Really, I saw the value prop for it, and I was interested in some of the projects. I also happened to be a business and tax structuring lawyer, as well as a regulatory and compliance lawyer. So I started my own firm in 2015 in Denver, Colorado, and started basically assisting projects from the ground up. They would, build out their company, help with the ICOs, make sure they were, compliant in whatever jurisdiction, either domestically or overseas, compliant with the SEC, CFTC, FinCEN, all that good stuff. Brought in a ton of clients that way to my firm, and then actually started with Mandala as the outside counsel in 2018 with its first iteration. The old founders kind of left the project for dead, and we stepped in and kind of stepped up and took over from all independent contractor positions and outside positions to the C-level position where I sit now for the last couple of years as the CEO of Mandala. So that's my journey through crypto, but it's been quite interesting. Obviously enjoy all the conferences we get to speak at, all the continuing legal education we do for lawyers, and just teaching and educating in general. So that's where I sit with it.
Got it. And Joe, you say that, the old team kind of left over time and you guys came and took over. The Mandala ICO took place in early 2018. So how has the ecosystem's vision changed since then?
Sure. I think it's fundamentally changed in a lot of different ways. I guess the first iteration of Mandala, there was a couple of build outs that never really got past beta for various reasons. We tried to, I shouldn't say we, the old founders tried to, construct an exchange from the ground up without the support of, order books, liquidity. And it was very daunting and it was tough back in 2018, 2019. So I guess the fundamental difference was we saw an opportunity to partner with Binance on the Binance Cloud kind of white label exchange, while still owning and operating our own exchange, just using their liquidity, their order book depth, their their SAFU security policy, and function under their security and insurance fund as well. So fundamentally, our vision changed from trying to do it all ourselves to building smart and building out our ecosystem in the areas that made sense, while relying on some of the the features that Binance brought to the table and allowed us to function in the meantime as a fully functional spot exchange before we continue building up.
Beautiful. And so, yeah, obviously you guys share liquidity with Binance. You're also protected by their cutting edge security, which is a huge vote of confidence for those looking to store funds on your exchange and trade on your exchange. But with that said, what are some ways you plan to distinguish yourselves from not only Binance, but all the other blue chip centralized exchanges in the crypto space?
Sure. And that's a great question, because we do see the top 4 or 5 exchanges, of course, with so much market share. And obviously everyone else strives to be like them because, you see them marketed everywhere. You see the commercials of the Super Bowl. I mean, you see FTX all over Major League Baseball's umpire jerseys and renaming arenas and things like that. And Binance, of course, getting a global foothold in places like Dubai and, formerly Malta and, just other jurisdictions. So I think what we are trying to do is be a major player in the creative space, where we do partner with these third parties and build out partnerships that are new and innovative. I can't quite release a couple of them that we have yet, but a good one that is coming up very shortly here is, and we'll talk about this later, is our DeFi platform, where it's 3-click yield farming. No one else has built that. Simple DeFi, the company that we're partnering with, has a very innovative and very wonderful product, and we're proud to be the first exchange that's going to launch that. And differentiators like that is key, right? Along with making sure you have an educated trading class, investor pool rather, and having, you know, kind of accessibility as a smaller exchange where we're always online, we are always communicating with our community, and we're always accessible in that way as well. So I think those are the differentiators we really attack, since, you know, since we want to, of course, bring more users in on a daily basis, and we do.
Yeah, and Joe, I definitely want to talk about your plans for MandalaPHI, your DeFi protocol soon here. Before I do, I'm kind of going to go down a list of questions with respect to the exchange and kind of figure out what kind of developments you guys have in the works. First of all, for those that don't know about the Mandala exchange, can we expect any token that's available on Binance to also be available on Mandala?
Yes, that's the beauty of it. We have almost 1,200 pairs active. You know, from the Binance ecosystem, as well as a few of our own listings. We actually just launched Safemoon, and we were the first Binance Cloud product in the Binance ecosystem to launch that. So that's been a wonderful partnership thus far that we are going to explore further as we move, you know, as they move down and develop their products as well. But yes, by and large, most pairs are available that are also available on Binance. It's just some of the fiat pairs that we don't have the same you know, capability to list for regulatory reasons, typically, or jurisdictional reasons. But yeah, by and large, yes.
Got it. And Joe, how can projects apply to have their token listed on Mandala, and what would be the listing cost?
Sure. So the listing cost is typically about $35,000 to list. That's to start there, and there is you apply through our business dev the portal. We do have a portal up. We just changed over to from a Google Docs system over to, I believe, a WordPress system. I got to make sure on that. But we do have a backlog as well right now because there are some restrictions. We work with the Binance Cloud and Binance.com wallet teams to build and integrate the wallets and, you know, liquidity, market maker, all that stuff that you bring on for a new listing. And they do have some restrictions for their cloud exchanges for timeframes to list. We are working on a solution to that where we can do more under the Mandala heading and trying to, you know, kind of step out of that restrictive environment. But for now, best thing to do is to contact our biz dev. Their email is on our website, or contact one of the team members and inquire about listing directly.
And Joe, can you elaborate on some of these regulatory restrictions? What does that mean?
Sure. So I function a lot in the regulatory space. I help draft and consult on legislation. So I'm always aware of kind of what's going on globally. And some of the fiat pairs on Binance.com are subject to regional jurisdictional rules for listing and trading those fiat currencies, you know, paired with cryptos. So there are some that we necessarily cannot implement because of that, because we are in a different, you know, regulatory sandbox a little bit, being an independently owned and operated company than Binance. By and large, we don't have that issue at all. But there's just some countries that you need a full, you know, license to operate as a fiat money services business. So we do have to cut some of those fiat pairs.
Understood. And Joe, moving on, I'm curious to know if you guys plan on expanding the services your centralized exchange offers, such as adding futures, options trading, staking, farming services, all that good stuff that we see on Binance today.
One word, absolutely. We are working on our DeFi platform first with more goodies to follow. And we are, you know, in the works for those as well. But we do plan on providing a full ecosystem, you know, including eventually futures, margin, launchpad, all those services. And we are in the works for all those things. I just want to, you know, make sure we roll things out properly. And obviously, as you guys know, with tech, there's a lot of back testing. There's a lot of UI, UX integration that has to be done, and just logistics that have to be worked through. So it's, you know, we're rolling things out in a timely manner, but it's still tech. So we do want to extensively back test and get it done right the first time.
Certainly, slow and steady wins the race. And again, I understand that you plan on adding a launch pad, maybe an academy, a broker, NFT marketplace. What about a Mandala credit card?
I've actually had some discussions on that. We are looking at some providers and trying to figure out what the most efficient provider is in terms of fees for our user base, because we do have a global user base, and it's a little, it's a little daunting sometimes because there are different providers that will geofence out areas that we need included. So we're trying to find one that is a right fit, but that is something that is in the works and is planned, at least on the debit card, / credit card side. Yes, along with other fiat off ramps as well. So we're working on that. Beautiful.
And last question before we get to MandalaPHI, Joe, any plans to launch your own chain, kind of like BSC?
Well, we are working on a second chain launch. We'll talk about that in terms of DeFi, but we are going to do a Mandala BSC token. We haven't extended past that yet because we want to make sure the markets are big enough to support our own blockchain if we're going to do that, right? And we want to build out, and really get the full functionality with the 2 tokens that we are going to release, the ERC20 that we already have released, of course, and the BSC token that we're going to release here in the near future. So we want to make sure those are, very solid and functioning before we go to our own blockchain.
Beautiful. And Joe, is there anything else about the centralized exchange that we should know that's coming? Any exciting news? I want to move on here to MandalaPHI, but before I do, I kind of wanted to wrap up any thoughts you had on the exchange.
Just for traders, we do have some advantages as to the legal end of things. Obviously, like I said, we function under a global legal umbrella. But what's nice about us is that we're not quite under the same restrictions that Binance has, been placed under. So we still have the 2 BTC no KYC policy for traders that are, bigger, that do bigger withdrawals or even medium-sized withdrawals quite regularly. So that's a nice thing there. We also have, of course, our Mandala token that locks up for trading rebates and as well as trading fees, make or take, as low as 0.065%. And that's for a pretty reasonable price right now to lock up that many tokens. So definitely come check it out. So even if you're a spot trader, there are a lot of advantages to trading on Mandala. Not to mention we integrated with Crypto Hero, Good Crypto, and we're going to be releasing a couple of different bot, and algo platforms and integrations to trade on. So those are all things that can really come in handy, especially if you're, you're grid trading or you're bot trading. Your rebates can stack up really quickly.
Okay, so 2 things. One, audience members, what really attracted me to Mandala in the beginning was the 2 BTC KYC limit. And Joe, I think that's really amazing. The fact that we have access to pretty much every token that we might find on Binance, the liquidity, the security, but also get to keep that 2 BTC withdrawal limit. Is there any chance of that? Any chance of regulatory pressure or the kind of pressure that Binance has been feeling coming down on the Mandala ecosystem in the future and you guys having to lower that limit?
Of course. And here comes the lawyer hat, right? The caveat. I'm still a lawyer. I have to be, unfortunately. If we're told by, jurisdictionally to, knock that out and cut it down to a lower level, of course, we'll comply with that. We're about compliance. We're about, being on the right side of the law, basically, the regulatory, framework that comes down, no matter what jurisdiction we're in, right? But for now, we've not received any such notification, and we're keeping a close eye on it. But yeah, there's always a chance that could happen. I mean, you can never say with certainty that won't, because that would just be dishonest.
Understood. And I'm really glad you mentioned your 2 trading bots, Crypto Hero and Good Crypto. Can you give us a high-level overview of how users can get access to those bots and how successful they are at making winning trades?
Sure. Like Crypto Hero and Good Crypto both have great track records, first of all, and have really great communities. You can download them in the App Store. They're apps that plug in. You can plug your Mandala wallet in, and there's actually some additional rebates and additional giveaways that we've done with both platforms, with both companies rather. So check it out. You plug your Mandala wallet in, and you just really plug and play and start trading. Build your own bots. There's other bots that you can kind of copy trade and play with, and you can build your own parameters. And I've used them quite a bit. They're great. I've tested them out on some U.S. exchanges, since obviously the U.S. is geofenced for Mandala right now, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But I always like to test products before I bring them in. And they've worked quite well with plug and play, on other exchanges, as well as I've had great reviews from Mandala users. So I just go check out their app, check out the competitions and giveaways that we're running with them. You can find them on Twitter under our Mandala X Twitter, or under, Good Crypto or Crypto Heroes Twitter as well. So that's the easiest way to find out about all the promotions we're running with them and how to use.
Understood. And you did mention that Mandela is unavailable. It's geofenced in the US region and maybe some other regions as well. Just really briefly, what are some reasons for that? And is there any chance that Mandela would become available to US citizens in the future?
Sure. First off, let's start with the obvious one. Yes, we would, of course, like to bring Mandala to the US, even with a kind of a Coinbase / Gemini setup, which is necessary, which would be more limited pairs, of course, to start, because getting a securities exchange license here is next to impossible. Thanks to, unfortunately, thanks to the U.S. government and regulatory bodies and the SEC being behind the rest of the world, behind the curve, to just put it mildly. They're a source of frustration. It's very hard to get a securities license. That being said, you can, and we have started to get money transmitter licenses in different states, and we are working on our money services business license as well. With FinCEN, or with CFTC rather, and then just registering as an exchange and building out when you're just trading those limited pairs is not as daunting. So that is doable, and that's our next focus is to, of course, bring it into the U.S. at some point, even with the limited pair basis, as well as allowing U.S. Users to access some of our other, our other functionalities, other features like liquidity pools, like single asset staking, where it's just Mandala in, Mandala out token. That's what we're going to be building. We'll talk about that with the DeFi, and features such as that, so that they're not just holding the token.
And Joe, not going on too much of a tangent, but you being an attorney and dealing with all the legal hurdles and all the barriers that come with trying to run a successful crypto ecosystem or a successful crypto exchange, why do you think the SEC is so slow and so difficult to work with respect to cryptocurrencies? Well,
I've had the displeasure of working with them or against them a couple times. So as well as drafting some of the legislation that is actually in front of them right now, in front of Congress right now, and in front of different states' legislations. And what we see across the board is this either hesitancy or kind of what used to be lack of understanding. I think that's gone away. I think it's a kind of trying to save the regular financial system a little bit, mixed with the, the glorification of central banks. There's no other way to put it, really, where they just come at the blockchain and crypto space really hard, but they regulate by enforcement, and there's no framework. So even internally, you see a lot of dissonance and no cohesion in how these things are enforced. There's no rhyme or reason. I think we're going to see that change with the new lawyers that were hired, knock on wood, by the SEC the other day. They doubled their crypto enforcement and crypto staff. And I think with the Ripple case and with the library cases, we're going to see seismic change in how crypto is classified in the U.S. as well. But that's for another talk. I could go for hours on that. I actually just did a 2-hour continuing legal education on that on Tuesday in Ohio. So yeah, we could go on that forever.
Yeah, certainly. And I do hope that we have a brighter future ahead of us with respect to the SEC and them making things a bit easier for crypto enthusiasts and crypto investors in the future. Joe, I'm at the most exciting part of the AMA for me because there's not a lot of information on this. I want to talk about MandalaPHI. I want you to give us a high-level overview of what you guys are building there, how it works, and then we can jump at the nuts and bolts of things as we go.
Sure. So high level, MandalaPHI is a DeFi integration that's built out with one of our partners, Simple DeFi. It is going to be a 2-phased build out. The first phase that is pretty close to launch here, just waiting on some CertiK audits, is a BNB model for yield farming, where it's 3-click yield farming. It's super easy. I think it's comparatively, there's like 17 or 18 clicks to move from yield farm to yield farm on PancakeSwap or a comparable platform. So this makes the ease of access super easy. Basically what you're going to do is integrate a third-party wallet, move your funds through, and then just go on their platform. We'll have it all UI, UX for Mandala. Phase 2 is a Mandala BSC token specific build out, where we are going to offer single asset staking, where you can just, park your Mandala tokens for various lengths of time, 30, 90, 180 days, a year. We're building out different levels of staking, and you will get a reward. More Mandala dropped to you if you stake them for the whole time. That can be offered, globally, because of the fact that we are not doing anything with those funds when they sit. They're just being staked. So it's not the same as, the yield farming where funds are lent out on the back end. This is just park your funds, get a reward. It's similar to an airdrop, but it's an easy way to earn passive income. The second part to it, which is the really cool, innovative part, is Mandala token in, Mandala token out, single asset yield farming. That is going to be powered by Simple DeFi. They will be doing they've done quite great works thus far on the dev side of things, and that will be earning also their Easy token, which is a reward token that's going to power their ecosystem. So that's the token that gets. And it's pretty cool that Easy was still available as a ticker. That just as a tangent, but that's a reward token you'll get. And when you want to exit the yield farm, it's literally Mandala in, Mandala back out to your account. And we're going to do that all through the BSC token, so as to not disturb any legal framework or regulatory framework of the ERC20 token. We will be doing that through a bridge. We are also going to have, of course, liquidity pools on each side so that liquidity can be sourced. As we already have Uniswap pools, we have V2 and V3 pools. We encourage people to use the V3 pools. And we are going to be doing a pancake swap pool as well for the BSC side, paired with BNB.
So a lot of exciting stuff coming, going down. Sorry, go ahead. Were you going to say something?
No, I was just saying that's the nuts and bolts of it, or the functionality of it.
Yeah, certainly. And here's some questions that I have, and maybe some of our community members might have. But when you say 3-click yield farming, is that just self-explanatory? 3 clicks and you're staked and you're farming? Is that, or is there something more behind what that means?
That's it. We're going to do an explainer video on it, and it's going to be about 10 seconds.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. It's that simple, and that's why it's such a great, innovative product. It's not hard to learn. It's not confusing, and that's why we're excited about it. Like we talked about those differentiators before. This is something that's not available to anybody yet, right? It's just, and we're going to be the first to launch it. So that's a huge differentiator for us, and we're super excited about that.
Got it. And how many different assets are users going to be able to yield farm with?
Well, on the main Simple DeFi build out MandalaPHI platform, it's going to be a lot of different BNB farms. But the crown jewel for us, of course, is the Mandala specific farms, where it's just Mandala in, Mandala out, and that's that high level dev work that's being done by a team of really great professionals. They've been together. Their dev team's been together for over 20 years, which is unheard of, right? I mean, they were working with, forget Web 1, they were working with freaking AIM type levels, MSN type levels. So that's what we're looking at. So these guys do amazing work, are very communicative, and we're excited to see what they roll out, or when they roll it out. We know what's coming, but when they roll it out, we're excited to use it.
Got it. And you said that DApp is going to be able to allow you to integrate with any third-party wallet. You move your funds through and plug and play.
Right. Of course, MetaMask being the easiest one to do. But yes, they will have a multi-wallet infrastructure built.
Beautiful. And Joe, how far out is the launch of MandalaPHI?
Not too far. Phase 1, like I said, we're just waiting on some CertIC audits, and phase 2 is in the works. It should be coming pretty shortly behind. Of course, I don't want to ever put a date on things because tech, and of course the crypto space, you put a date on it, you don't get it the next day. You have an angry community, and we know that. But it should not be too long at all, and it's our next major build that we are going to release in conjunction with our bridge, and in conjunction, of course, with our liquidity pools and our BSC token.
So exciting. And with that said, let's start talking about the MDX token, the utilities that it's providing with respect to the Mandala exchange and the overall ecosystem. So can you give us a high-level overview of the tokenomics to start? And then I would love to hear about some of the individual utilities it provides for holders.
Sure. So high level, the MDX token, there's a 400 million token supply. It is an ERC20 token, and it functions as a rebate, trading fee token, basically your typical exchange token at this point, right? For spot exchanges, all the things you can do with it on a spot exchange, like let's say BNB token, the KCS token, tokens like that. It's very similar to what the Mandala token does at this point. If you lock up 300,000 tokens, that's our highest locking tier. You get the 0.065 maker taker trading fees. That's our biggest selling point right there for the fee rebates, and that can be quite extensive if you're making larger trades or if you're bot trading. But we also have our lowest tier. It goes from 0.1, which is our base fee, to 0.09 if you lock up as few as 5,000 tokens. So we try to give every trader some value there. We also use the token to run our Mandala Madness, which is a giveaway, a monthly giveaway, where we give away a percentage of trading fee volume to 3 lucky winners. We do a draw, and each 1,000 tokens you lock up gives you 1 entry. So we have had only 1 repeat winner, I believe, and we've been running this since January, and it's really fun, and it gets the community engaged. And we're typically giving away $7,000 to $10,000 a month, somewhere in there. So everybody's got a shot. We've had some smaller winners win. And it's something that keeps everybody engaged and holding the token. Now, of course, that's the functionality now on the spot exchange. Went over the DeFi functionality, which is going to be the 1-to-1 MDX ERC20 token to the MDX BSC token. And then we're just going to run that through the bridge and run the BSC token for DeFi specific.
Great. And so for the rebate program, do we lock our MDX tokens and we start earning a discount right away, or do they have to be locked for a certain period of time?
Sure. So we do 30-day lock periods. If you lock them up, you can unlock after 30 days. And that is so that we can do monthly rebates and calculate them properly. But once you lock them up and you start trading, you get rebates right away. Every trade after you lock them up. I will caution everybody, don't buy the tokens and then not lock them up, because you won't get the trading fee rebates. So make sure you use that lock feature that's right on our website. It says lock by MDX. It literally just 2 clicks, enter the amount you want locked, and you're locked for 30 days and you can go. You can always add, or you can always add to that locking number if you'd like to. Obviously after 30 days you can subtract, but that's the basic functionality. It's super simple, super easy to use. And if you have questions, there's explainer videos, and support will always help.
Beautiful. One last question regarding the rebate. I was looking at the trading rebates charts, and I saw a column that reads lotto entries. What does that mean?
Sure. That's the Mandala Madness that I mentioned. That is our monthly lotto, and each 1,000 tokens you lock up, like I was saying, is 1 entry. So, it's something fun. You don't have to have a lot of money to jump in and compete for this, right? It's something that we want to offer to all our users, because we like trying to have a more diverse base of users and give everybody a shot at winning, a decent sized prize pool every month.
Beautiful. Moving on, I wanted to ask about your Fiat, the crypto gateway that allows users to purchase MDX tokens with a credit or debit card. Do you plan on expanding this to other cryptocurrencies in the future that can also be purchased with Fiat?
Sure. So right now we have Indicoin. They're well known in the industry. They do a Mandala specific for our token, Fiat to crypto gateway. Obviously, there's some charges that apply based on region and based on credit card providers and standard rates. We do plan on building out more Fiat gateways as well, both on and off ramp, because we want to give our users some options. So we are in discussion, like we were talking about before, looking into the debit card, credit card side of things, as well as talking with different providers to see if we can find a good fit. And at that point, work with them and bring them on. So, but yeah, that's where we are with that.
Got it. And some more basic questions for you, Joe. How does Mandala generate revenue?
Sure. So primarily Mandala generates revenue through trading fee rebates, trading fees. We are, we're partnered with Binance, and we do a trading fee split with Binance. And that is just like any other spot exchange, how revenue is generated, right, on a daily basis. So we get a percentage of trading fees. And of course, as we expand out, we will be generating revenue in a bunch of different ways. Obviously through our launchpad, through our listings, as we expand our listing, a listing base, as well as we are going to, and we have mechanisms in place to provide liquidity to DEXs and to provide some other integrations I can't quite talk about yet, but that's basically the ways that we're generating revenue.
Very cool. And Joe, you did mention earlier that there are some strategic partnerships you can't mention. Are there any that you forged that you can tell us about?
Yes, absolutely. We're very excited. There's another decentralized project, EXO, that is going to be launching here in the near future. I think at the end of Q2, early Q3, they're looking to launch. We have negotiated out to be one of their primary liquidity providers, which is one of the advantages of course, using having Binance's order books and book depth. That's going to really be helpful for both parties and advantageous. We are also looking to build out a launchpad type system with them, with an affiliate program where we implement a DEX/centralized launchpad as we go to spin up our own launchpad, our Mandala launchpad, later on this year, where they're going to launch the DeFi on the DEX side with a definitely go read EXO's white paper. It's very, very, very high level, high tech liquidity pool where the funds are kind of distributed for a bunch of different resources, and it's very innovative. And on top of that, if you list with them, you're going to also get a listing with Mandala on the centralized side of things. So it's going to be definitely one of the first DEX/SEX launchpad integrations. So that's being built out with them. Obviously, we went over Simple DeFi, the DeFi platform, and then we are of course working on our futures and margin platform, for later this year as well. So there's a lot that's coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, a lot of exciting stuff coming in 2022. And as for EXO, can we expect that on multiple chains, or is it Ethereum or BSC exclusive?
Yes, they're going to be on a couple different chains. I don't know how many they're going to implement at launch, but I know their project wants to build out on multi-chain and have like cross-chain functionality and things of that nature. So yes, I do see that as being a multi-chain, very diverse ecosystem that we're going to be able to tap into on both sides.
Awesome. And Joe, how big is the Mandala team? Can you give us a quick breakdown?
Sure. Mandala team, we have about 12 to 13 full-time employees, all independent contractors. That's the way we set the business up a couple of years ago. We have 2 or 3 people in operations, a creative leader, and a couple of designers that are underneath them that do kind of piecemeal work. Then we have a couple of people that are our internal marketing team that are also partnered with one of our SX marketing, which we've brought in. They have a big global reach. They're wonderful with crypto projects, and that partnership's been thriving for us this year. And we brought them in late last year, and they kind of work as an internal/external team, but we like to consider it an internal team for all intents and purposes. Then we have sorry, just lost my train of thought for a minute. We have our development team headed by our CTO, Zach, and we do have some other development teams that we work with, either third party or on call if we need them to build out anything for our exchange. Binance Cloud also provides us with a very extensive team of developers, so we work in tandem with them if it's an internal issue. Then we have our management team. We have myself, the CEO, actually my dad, who's a CFO, and also the other side of the legal team. I don't know if he loves that I keep him out of retirement, but it's fine. And like I said, Zach's our CTO and our COO, Brad. And outside of that, we have 3 on our support team. We're lucky enough to have stolen some of them from other exchanges, and they've been working, extensively in this industry for a number of years, probably since like 2016, 2017. So they're very comfortable. And then outside of that, we just have a couple community managers who do a great job, and I don't envy their jobs at all. As we know, people can get a little rowdy on Discord and Telegram, and they do a fabulous job handling them on a daily basis, and very professional. And that's really our team. I mean, it's pretty tight knit. We do have a business development team and an outreach team, and we do have a lot of community members that actually get involved on different levels. And to our community, whenever you'd like to get involved, obviously reach out to us. We always take ideas into consideration, and we definitely take them and work with them and run with them if they're good ideas. So
And yeah, community members, I've spent quite a bit of time in the Mandala Discord. It's one of the most engaging ones. If you have ever any questions, they're very quick to respond. They're very quick to address your concerns. Joe, how is it working with your dad?
It's awesome. Quite honestly, he's a brilliant lawyer. He did 45 years of Fortune 100 and 200 M&A, transactional work, business structuring, and tax structuring. And, went to NYU in the 70s. NYU, of course, is top law school in the country, the number 3 law school in the country. And the education I've received from him, hiring him, I hired him for my firm in 2015 when I started, has been invaluable. There's always something that ideas we can bounce off each other. And I've been able to teach him, of course, the crypto industry, from an early time frame, 2015, 2016, we started working with these clients. So he's very adept there. And it's been amazing. That's cool. That's my dad. I get to, call my dad and shoot the shit with him about business every day. It's great. So
yeah, it sounds like a very unique experience and a very special relationship you have with your dad. And that's really awesome, Joe. I don't think many people get to say they work with their dad and they have such a great time doing it. What does he think about crypto? What does he think about the future of this industry?
Oh, he recognizes it. He treats crypto. He's held crypto since I got in. I got him little bags, but I mean, he's obviously expanded those over the years, and he definitely believes in the future of it, and is happy where the asset class is going and how it's gaining so much traction, especially over the last couple of years on a global basis. So it's cool because I'll call him up and he'll be like, hey, have you seen this regulatory decision that was handed down in X country? And I'm like, shoot, when did it happen? He's like, oh, like 10 hours ago. I'm like, well, no, I haven't seen it yet. That's awesome. It's one of those relationships where he's definitely on the ball with it, and it's cool to see him. He comes to conferences with us, explains the exchange to people, explains kind of the sandbox that we function in, and it's great to see. It's very engaging for him. So it's really cool.
I bet, Joe. And listen, I was really excited for this AMA, and it's been an honor hosting you. I've had a really great time learning more about the project. I've actually been an investor myself for a while, but before we get to audience questions, we've had our audience members prepare questions for you guys, and there should be some good ones. Is there anything that I haven't covered that you would like to tell us about at all?
Oh gosh, I think we've gone over a lot here. I feel like it's a pretty comprehensive overview of where we are and where we're going. And like I said, please stop, like you said too, stop by our Discord and our Telegram. You can engage with team members pretty much all the time. If you have a question, we're here, we're there. If we're not, we're probably sleeping. Quite honestly, as you guys know, this industry doesn't stop. It's like, 12 to 14 hour days. It's great.
That's right.
But it's I think we've pretty much covered what we're looking at and where we're looking to build, this year and into next year, of course, with the US side of things.
Sweet. So if it's okay with you, I'm going to start calling on some of our community members and they're going to ask away.
Sure.
All right. Western Beast, you're up first.
Hi guys. Hello. All right. This is a comprehensive overview, and I would like to ask, on your website, I saw the feature where people can actually convert dust, and I believe that these dust tokens refers to small coins and small tokens in small amounts to BNB. Can you give us an overview of how this works? And will you be the one providing the gas fees for this conversion, since these tokens themselves may require higher amount of gas fees to convert, for example, those that are Ethereum based? And how do we both profit from this feature? That's my project. That's your project and the investor alike.
Sure, great question. I'm glad you brought that up because we did just implement sweep to BNB functionality on our exchange. So thank you for that. Yes, there are some parameters that Binance Cloud puts in place, and I think unfortunately some of them are their standard fees that are locked in for conversions. They have a set fee rate across all exchanges for the sweep functionality, as well as the parent exchange, of course, Binance.com. So those are implemented there, and the functionality will work. I think it's 10 pairs you can do at a time, and I think it's 10 pairs every 24 hours, I believe. So it's you know, they do that for just I don't know. That's what they implemented across all their cloud exchanges. But it does allow for a couple things. If you do sweep to BNB and you trade a lot, and you do have a lot of small tokens that you're trading, that will allow you to access part of the Mandala and DeFi realm, because BNB is going to be the base pair that all the other pools are paired with, and so that brings added functionality from trading on our exchange, even if you're not trading the MDX token itself. And obviously, fees from the sweep are they're split with Binance in the same way that our regular trading fees would be split. So it's not, and the investor does get back, or the trader does get back the fees if they have those tokens locked up as well for the sweep functionality. So it functions just like trading does on our exchange. But it's nice to have that sweep conversion.
All right, that's a really cool feature. That's one of the parts I'm interested in. So a subsequent question to that is that I saw Safemoon token on the website. So I wanted asking, I actually have some pieces of Safemoon token myself. I also have some pieces of Little Rabbit. So what's the minimum requirements that these low level coins must meet before they can be seen worthy to be exchanged on your platform? And what methods do you use to verify that these coins are actually genuinely swappable? Sure,
that's a great question. So let me go over that a little bit. Our listing process, like you asked before, actually it was a good question before. It's a multi-part process. So a token, to be able to list on Mandala, must submit obviously their contract audits from CertiK or whoever has audited their token, must submit a legal opinion stating their token is whatever, it is a security, a utility, a commodity, whatever it is, but it has to have a reputable law firm behind it. You have to have a market maker that goes online. We've actually require that for obviously all our tokens for obvious reasons, so that there's a market to set. And there has to be, especially in the case of Safemoon, where tokenomics were different, and that's why our listing got delayed actually, and that's why it's being worked on in the intense manner that it has been. You got to make sure everything functions properly, like the wallets are set up properly, the rebate earnings are set up properly so that we can reflect to the users as well as back to Safemoon. If you don't know what that is, definitely go look at their tokenomics and you'll get a quick education on that. But there are a lot of moving parts on it, right? And then it's a multi-week process, probably really a month-long plus process to implement the token and get it properly functioning and test it. So outside of that, yes, we are running Safemoon right now. And actually, I would be remiss if I didn't mention this. We are running a competition with Safemoon users where if you lock up the Mandala token and bring 32,000 Safemoon tokens onto the exchange at a minimum, you get multiple entries into the volume trading competition. And there are 32 winners per month for Safemoon, as well as the 3 Mandala winners. So there's a lot of ways to actually, passively earn and enter passively enter the competitions by coming out of the exchange, bringing your tokens on and locking them up. So we do have that going on as well. So I hope that answers your question and gives you a little more information as well.
Yeah, I'm actually going to hop on your group and I'm going to ask the rest of the questions, Joe. I really appreciate your detailed answers. Thanks a lot, Noah. Over to you.
Excellent. Have a great day.
Thank you, Western. Let's go with Aisha next.
Thank you, Noah. Okay, I've read an article about Mandala Exchange, and it's mentioned about Mandala University for crypto trading education, and you have launched 2 courses that are blockchain foundation and cryptocurrency and Bitcoin trading. And retail values of these courses is $695 and $395 respectively. I was thinking that, are there any free basic courses available to all the users through Mandala University?
Yes, actually, those we are working with Blockchain Academy very closely, and I'm glad you brought this up. Education is very important in the crypto space, right? We want educated traders, we want educated investors in the space, and I think since blockchain and crypto is so relatively new, a lot of people are finally learning, and that's something that has to come with mass adoption. So we are building out a Mandala themed platform with Blockchain Academy, and we will be launching that in different pieces and bringing more and more educational content onto that platform. We also do have a YouTube, Mandala YouTube, that has a lot of educational videos on how to use the platform and, what a bunch of the features of the platform and kind of a bunch of crypto 101 type videos as well. Now, those courses should be available to our user base for free, the Blockchain 101 and Crypto 101, and they will be. We just had a little hiccup with Blockchain Academy. They were working in there, and their sites actually went down for a little bit. But those are typically free to, for our first 1,000 users, and there are still some subscriptions left. So if you're interested, please come and contact our support or our community manager, and we can get you a subscription to those for free so you can work through those courses.
Amazing. Okay, I also want to know that do you have policies set in place to prevent or reduce money laundering and terrorist financing on Mandala platform?
Can you repeat the question one more time? It cut out a little bit.
Okay, sure. I want to know that do you have any policies set in place to prevent or reduce money laundering and terrorist financing on Mandala platform?
Oh, absolutely, we do. We have KYC for any, KYC that is, like I said, over 2 BTC. Trading KYC is mandatory. We also do an AML and have an AML provider as well. So we do stick with those industry standard policies because of the fact that it is important that our platform is viewed as a secure and safe and, of course, compliant place to trade. So yes, and like we were talking about before, if the laws ever, or the regulatory bodies come to us and say, hey, you need to lower that 2 KYC or 2 BTC no KYC provision, we absolutely will, and we will comply with that because, part of mass adoption for me, putting my legal hat on for a minute and stepping aside as a CEO of an exchange, is to make sure that the industry is well respected and not over-regulated, but regulated enough so that it's not seen as this outcast, marginalized industry, because that's not what it is to any of us, right? So yes, absolutely, we have those policies in place.
Understood. Thank you. Thank you for answering my questions.
Thank you, Aisha. Let's go with Venice next.
Yeah, Noah. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear you,
Okay.
Venice.
Actually, I read on after signing up and logging in on Mandala Exchange, I read on the deposit page of Mandala dashboard that if we deposit BUSD BEP20, then coins will be deposited after 15 network confirmations. So I wanted to know what are these 15 network confirmations, and if any of the network is congested or it is bad, then it will make the whole process very long. So could you please explain how will this work?
Sure. So networks do get congested at times, right? And there is sometimes a wait for deposits, right? That it happens. It's crypto. It's happened on every exchange over time. If you've used an exchange for long enough, it will happen at times. Now, we obviously don't control gas fees, things of that nature. Obviously, let's say Ethereum, for example, there's days where, we just saw with the Bored Ape Yacht Club launch where fees were ridiculous to transfer from wallet to wallet. And, I felt bad for users that day, honestly, or a couple days. Otherwise, there are standard fees for deposits and withdrawals that are, we do have those for every token. That is implemented by Binance Cloud, and that is across the whole Binance ecosystem. So that's not something we can really play with. Those are some of the limitations that we have, partnering with a powerhouse such as Binance. We don't really get to play around with those set fees. But, in general, we try to obviously make sure that, any things that make, if a network may congest and a deposit or withdrawal is stuck or frozen, our support gets on it in tandem with the Binance.com support team, and definitely gets back to our users and figures it out as soon as possible. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, and I have a second question. As
Sure.
you have a referral system, so I was wondering if anyone that has used my referral to register on Mandala Exchange, and if he wins a prize of Mandala Madness lottery pool, so will I get the 10% referral commission on it as well? Like if the lottery prize is 150K and then 10% will be approximately 15,000, and from which pool this commission will be given?
Sure. So the Mandala Madness pool is drawn from total volume of the exchange each month. It's a percentage of volume, And what we do is we either distribute it in USDT or MDX. We give the user a choice in case they want to trade to another token. It's fine with us, or trade in our exchange, or just even deposit or withdraw rather. It doesn't matter to us, but it is not subject to trading fees or anything of that nature. It's just a straight distribution from our team, from the volume we bring in every month to the winners, and we do that randomly with a random generator for the trading for the competition rather.
Actually, my question was that if someone register on Mandala Exchange by using my referral, and if he is the winner, then will I
Your
also
referral.
be get
Sorry.
commission? Yeah.
No. It's just 3 random draw. It's not referral based. It's just the user IDs that are drawn as winners. So no, sorry, I missed that part of the question. Sorry about that. But no, it won't be shared. No, it's just it goes to those 3 winners.
Okay, great. And I also want to know, if people hold Safemoon on Mandala Exchange, then will they also be eligible for getting reflections from other tracking platforms of Safemoon or other decentralized exchanges?
For now, no. For now, our phase 1 is local tokenomics, so it's just local to our exchange. But in the future, we would love to provide global tokenomics, and we are trying to work on a solution to that. Yes.
Okay, awesome.
That's something that we were working on closely with the Binance.com team, and trying to put in place here. So yes.
Okay, great. And when I tried to enter the Mandala Madness, it showed an error that my country is restricted. But when I used a VPN, it gave me an access to the Mandala Madness. So what's the purpose of blocking the access of some countries when people can access it via VPNs?
So obviously, countries are blocked for different reasons here. There's regulatory reasons that countries are blocked. There's also, just money launderings, concerns where other countries are blocked as well. Those are just regulatory issues that, are out of our control really as a global exchange. And, we have to do that to stay compliant. Now, of course, the second half of that question, we can't ever, of course, we won't ever advocate for people to circumvent geofencing restrictions. That's not something that I would ever advocate for, and not something that I would ever be comfortable discussing. But, we do what we can in the industry by blocking off these IP addresses and geofencing, regions that correspond to different IP, addresses, because that is what we are required to do on a compliance end, to be compliant, to be able to properly function. So that's why we do that, and that's why we have to do that.
Okay, great. You guys are really doing something really great, Mandala Exchange, and I'm really hyped up for it. And thank you so much for answering my questions.
Thank you.
Said is up next.
Yeah, thank you, Noah. Okay, so MDX token is an ERC20 token on Ethereum chain, and you will also be launching a token on the BSC. So as Mandala Exchange is powered by the Binance Cloud, so I want to understand that why did you decide to launch your token on the Ethereum blockchain first rather than on the BSC?
Sure. And that's a great question. And I think it goes back, it does go back to when the first iteration of the company launched in 2018. We did not have the partnership with Binance at that point, with Binance Cloud, as we were the first exchange to actually partner and launch with Binance Cloud in late 2020, early 2021. Now, we were trying to build our own exchange out. And at the time, in early 2018, first off, Binance chain wasn't really around, and Ethereum, ERC20 was the standard to build on. When we picked the project back up and we swapped to our second version of tokens in early 2020, we still wanted to stick with that ERC20 token because we didn't want to change the smart contract. We didn't want to have to go through a new audit process. And we also, we had it in a compliant fashion. We had launched it in a compliant fashion. We wanted to keep all those aspects in play because the legal work that went into it was thousands of hours of legal work for the company, over a couple of years, probably 1,000 to 1,500 hours of legal work between myself, my father, and a couple other attorneys. So it's a heavy lift. It's a heavier lift than it looks like on the surface. If you start messing around with chains that you're building on and token contracts and things of that nature before it's established and before, you know, especially before you have that partnership and before BSC was available. So we just kept it ERC20, and now we're launching the BSC specifically for our DeFi platform, so as to still not mess around with the compliance aspect of the ERC20 token.
Yeah, understood. Okay, I have so I've read about your crypto hero algorithm, and Mandala allows users to create bot to trade any currency pair. User can program trading bots to respond to various inputs which they like. So I want to know that will there be any limit on number of bots user can create and program for trading crypto pairs, or it will be unlimited?
You should be able to trade any crypto pairs that we have on the exchange with the bot, so long as they're supported, you know, by the good crypto bots. And it's just a plug and play. So, you know, you plug it in through the app. So I figured it should be. And you know, what we like about that, of course, like you mentioned, I'm glad you mentioned the grid trading bots, and of course the exotic order types. You know, there's a lot that you can do and a lot of added functionality, which is why we're happy to have them as a partner as well. But no, you can absolutely set up multiple bots and play around with you know, different pairs and different strategies. There's really no limit to what you can do on there. The limit's only being what their tech has released on their side.
Wonderful. Final question. So I was thinking that will your D app have any built-in social feature as well, like Messenger, which can enable users to contact their friends and family through Mandala app? Have you thought of that?
Yes, we have, and I think that's going to be part of the university build out, where we're going to do a social platform where the users can kind of you know, post the classes they've completed. This is our vision for the future here. And kind of, you know, say, hey, look, you know, I've taken these courses. You know, you can earn a diploma through the Mandala University. Not, of course, it's not the same as a university diploma, like a college diploma, but you know, it's kind of a social, you know, ranking and hierarchy system. We're also looking at implementing different types of leaderboards for some of our competitions and things of that nature. And we have been working on the dev work on that in the background as well. So we do plan to launch that. But we do want to make it a very big social network, tie in our Discord and our Telegram, and have our user bases interact, because at the core of it, if we have a vibrant community and a positive community, that really bodes well for the project, you know, moving forward, and that brings a lot of interest and enthusiasm, and that's always what we strive for.
Got it. Thank you for explaining that. Thank you so much. Over to you, Noah.
Yeah, thank you, Syed. Great questions, everyone. Joe, I wanted to shift over to some of the community questions that you guys had provided. I know you might have a list of those in front of you. Are there any that you want to address specifically, or that you want me to read out and have you answer, or do you want me to just go down the list?
Yeah, you can just run down the list. Yeah, I saw them come in yesterday. But yeah, let's go. Let's do them.
Okay, cool. So the first one is from Lado123, and his question is, what long-term strategies / goals do you have to differentiate yourselves from competitors? Binance has the first mover advantage. Crypto.com has stupid amount of money, plus US exposure. So what are you guys trying to do differently? And I think we kind of covered this at the beginning of the AMA.
Yeah, just to rehash that really quickly, I think it is building out these special third-party relationships, like we're doing with XO, like we're doing with Simple DeFi. Those are differentiators in that it's a service that is not provided yet, or you know, applicable to other centralized exchanges at this point. So, you know, if we keep getting these third-party kind of what I like to call special or unique you know, build outs, that's where we can really make our hay, because people will say, hey, you know, we have all those other features that Binance does. Of course we do, but these are the extras that Binance might not have yet. So that's what we look to do. Did I lose you? Uh-oh.
Hello? Can you hear me?
We can hear you now, Noah. Yeah, I think we lost.
Okay, yeah,
Okay,
I think I might have lost connection there because my Telegram did the whole dialing thing. I'm sorry about that. So
did everybody hear me though? Is that okay?
Yes, we can all hear you. I think you can hear me. We're good. So Another question from the same guy, Lado123. Are there legal issues with buying back MDXT / removing from circulation, not necessarily burning tokens, but holding it in your treasury? If you aren't planning on it, do you think the total supply is too high?
Great question. First answer, very simply, no. Companies buy back tokens, stocks, assets all the time, right? And hold them. There's no legal issue with that. That's a normal thing that financial companies do, whether it's tech, whether it's digital finance, whether it's regular finance. So that is doable. Actually, we are also allowed to burn our supply of tokens in part if we have a legitimate purpose for doing so. And there can always be an argument made that if we put out too many tokens in circulation, there can always be an avenue to do so. I do think that we've talked about a bunch of different strategies where the company either buys back or holds or burns tokens, and we are going to continue to figure those out. We do want to see how it plays in with our DeFi platform because obviously with the added functionality and utility of the tokens, there will be more in play. But at the same time, we have to balance that against the fact that we are going to be having that single asset staking where we are going to be dropping tokens there. So we're gonna have to play. We're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do with the supply. But yes, everything is on the table, and we are working towards probably multiple solutions of that nature.
Beautiful. Another one from Ladu123. Aside from potentially being in the US, do you see Mandala having an important position / influence in the crypto space? If so, why?
Of course I do. I wouldn't do this project if I didn't, right? I don't do anything to do it half-assed. Excuse my language. I don't. I do think also that a lot of other exchanges, while they might have great legal teams, they don't have people with the regulatory and compliance experience at the top that kind of sees it for what it is, right? Sometimes you have developers that are at the top. Sometimes you have traditional business and finance people that are at the top. And I think what's important to note is that where we sit, I have the privilege of kind of shaping legislation in the U.S. and abroad a little bit, right, on the federal and state level. And that's part of my job. I sit on a lot of different advisories committees, and I also review and draft legislation for multiple states and as well as for the feds. So it's a different position. It's a unique position. And I think it's important because we can sit and help really shape the industry, in that respect by, kind of pushing it to kind of, nudging it in different directions. So yes, I think that does create an important, carves out an important role for Mandala moving forward, because we want to be seen as, putting our best foot forward and being compliant, but also being on the pulse of what compliant means worldwide. So yeah, I think that's, I think it's a unique position to be in. I think that's why it's another differentiator for us.
I certainly agree. Last question from Ladu123. Where can the team use the community's help to develop / market, etc., the exchange?
Oh, it's a great question. Listen, we're a global exchange. We have community members all over the globe. And if you guys have good ideas to market, or places that are crypto friendly, countries that are crypto friendly, that are looking for, of course, some targeted expansion, targeted marketing. We had somebody ask us the other day. It was funny. There's a couple pizza places in Italy that wanted to run our ads, and we were like, of course, absolutely. So it's something. It can be something small, right? If you guys or you have families around, your friends are fans of our exchange and use our exchange regularly, please, by all means, we love to do marketing. I'm always hopping on Twitter Spaces to talk about anything. I mean, like, I help out. I help out Spaces. My girlfriend actually is a large PR and media person in the NFT and Web3 world, so I'll hop on Spaces and talk about that. But I mean, absolutely get out there, spread the word, and we're always wanting to interact with our community. Outside of that, we've had community members help us with development. We've had community members, of course, help us with marketing, and of course, our biz dev team as well, bringing other tokens to us. So if there's a project that's interested, don't hesitate. By all means, please just contact one of us.
Beautiful. And the next bunch of questions are from GM515. The first one is, would it be possible to license Mandala's future solutions to other BSC exchanges after Mandala became a top exchange? What I mean by that is you're working on being ahead of other BSC exchanges and not being dependent on Binance devs and deliveries. And in theory, you could be a provider in regards to build outs and what BSC couldn't provide, like setting a trend and not following it. And sorry, it was a bit of a mouthful, but I tried to get it all out there.
I know exactly where he's going with that.
Cool.
And the short answer is yes. With XO being a liquidity provider, right? We're going to do that and utilize some of the features that BSC gave, but do it on our own. And that's some of the beauty, Binance Cloud rather, gave to us, but we're using it on our own. That's the beauty of being an independently owned and operated exchange in this infrastructure. A lot of the Binance Cloud exchanges are, either partially owned or fully owned, or have, figureheads or I guess C-level people that have been put in place by Binance, Binance.com. And Binance.com not having a stake in our company is actually allowing us to do more third-party build-outs and more integration with, like I said, companies like XO and like Simple DeFi. And these are services that, especially in the case of XO, we would love to provide, as to our other affiliates and to our other exchanges. At some point, right after we get it implemented and get it rolling. So yeah, absolutely. We always look to do innovative and creative stuff because that's where we, like I keep saying, that's our differentiator, right? We're not going to be able to go back in time and become the first mover like Binance, or just magically have billions of dollars on hand like Crypto.com. But being creative can make up for some of that.
Yeah, you guys are going to be trailblazers in your own right, and I love that mentality. Next question is, will it be possible to use MandalaPHI with a hardware wallet?
Yes. Well, that's actually dependent on their team. Obviously, I'm not sure which plugouts when they're gonna deploy it, which plugins and connectors are going to deploy it, in which phase. But I would assume that at some point they're going to do that and release it, because they want to build out a fully functional ecosystem as well, and not limited to hot wallets. Obviously, they're going to have MetaMask implemented, so that's, and I'm assuming a Mu wallet as well, plug and play. So that's kind of bridging the hot and cold wallet gap there a little bit, as we know. But yeah, it's going to be dependent on Simple DeFi, as it is still their technology, which wallets they deploy.
Joe, is there any public information available about how many projects are waiting in line to be listed on Mandala?
There's not. We try to keep it, for privacy's sake and for the sake of the companies that do apply. We try to keep it, in-house and under wraps, because it's not fair to projects that have, of course, applied with us, but for various reasons aren't, either quite ready to launch, or, there is a queue. I will say there's a queue though, and it's extensive, and that's why we're excited to spin up our own launchpad, because if we can get that going, the sooner we can get that going, the more we can cater to these projects that may be smaller or may not have the the ability to list on because an exchange like Binance, because at the end of the day, the decisions are made obviously for which projects we want to launch. But we also still have to go through, like I said, that legal framework where you have to have the opinion letter, the white paper, the audits, all that good stuff. And the decision does get made by us, but then we still have to submit it to the Binance Cloud team so they can review it as well. And sometimes there are some issues that arise that are, that we talk about. And we do have to put a project aside or put it on pause for one reason or another. So we don't, in terms of fairness, we keep it in-house, and we're going to lean on it more extensively when we build our own launchpad.
And what would be some requirements to operate without Binance liquidity? Is that ever going to be a possibility for you guys?
Yeah, obviously at some point we'd love to be on our own 2 feet. All that, obviously the thing that it takes is, of course, tremendous capital, right? You have to set market making for hundreds of pairs. You have to have the security and insurance fund in place. Binance is a multi-billion-dollar fund in place. It's nuts, So obviously those are some of the restrictions to some of the things that we love having. At the same point, we are obviously looking to build out as many third-party, integrations and add-ons as we can, because of the fact that we do want to stand on our own 2 feet as much as possible. So it's a balancing act.
Got it. Will there be any any more major crypto events this year where Mandala will have a booth and be represented?
We're always looking at crypto events. We decided to take it a little easy this summer because of the fact that, quite honestly, there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes for our build outs, and it's kind of draining. That being said, we've definitely done some events domestically. I actually just got done with VCon yesterday, where I spoke on a couple panels and talked about some of our developments and talked to some NFT marketplaces and things of that nature that can integrate with Mandala, and talked about some metaverse type integrations as well. So always looking at the eye on the bigger picture, right? But yeah, I mean, it's not always a booth, right? That we have. One of our team members is going to be a consensus. That's going to be, and they're going to be talking about Mandala as in the context of simple DeFi, and and our other build outs and of that nature. That he's one of our heads of support. He's been in the industry for a long time, and so it's sometimes not as overt as a booth, but we will go and have meetings. Because obviously the booth is for show and for bringing the populace in and giving a new audience the what Mandala is. But the meetings are just as important for us, because if we can build and forge partnerships, right, that is every bit as important to us as the visibility at this point, since 2022 is a very, very much a robust build out year.
Certainly. And the next one's kind of fun. What's the official food of Mandala? Safemoon says pineapple pizza, as I heard, and we should really have one too.
Oh God, I don't know. I'm kind of a foodie though. Just hang a "will travel for food" sign around my neck. I have done that since high school. Love it. And I don't think we have an official food, but Donnie, who's one of our heads of marketing, man, that dude can throw down a heck of a seafood spread. Lived in New Orleans forever. Just moved cross country, but God, his crawfish dinners are so good. So I love to cook. I'm more of like a steak and fish and meats person, cooking with just full meals. But I don't think it's official food, but yeah, we got a lot of good cooks on our team, that's for sure.
Likewise, I'm a big seafood guy myself. Joe, we have a 300K holder since last January that would love to ask you a question. Zush, go for it, buddy.
Howdy. Can y'all hear me all
Hey.
right?
Yep.
Yes,
you're
sir.
good.
There we go, Mr. Joe. First of all, big fan of the community. Shout out to you, YB. I got a quick question for you though, regarding the longevity of tokenomics.
Mhm.
Would you rather be born with no arms or no legs?
What? Oh Lord. Well, I'm a concert pianist and bassist, so I'd take the no legs.
Alrighty, that was a fun one. Okay, so let's move it on to the rest of these questions we have written down. Is there a limit on how many open orders one can have at Mandala? Using good crypto grid bots, for example, can easily open hundreds of orders.
Yeah, no, there's none. You can open whatever kind of orders you want on the exchange, whatever pairs you want. There's no limit to them. I mean, I wouldn't want to track thousands of open orders at a time, but if that's your thing, go for it.
Is the Mandala NFT marketplace still a plan? After seeing how badly Coinbase's marketplace started, what's the guarantee that Mandala's would work? How would the Mandala NFT marketplace be different and ahead of the already failing competition?
Okay. Yes. Number one, it is something that we're of course into. I've advised on the legal end for NFT marketplace projects in the past, and just at least help them set a direction, and really just a true advisor position, and advise them on how to be compliant and regulatory. We would like to integrate with one or more of them and do something that is Mandala token specific, so there's some functionality there. Of course, there's no guarantees for anything really in crypto, right? We know that, but the way I look at NFTs, and this is a separate conversation as well, it's not art. It's not just art. It's real world fractionalization of assets. That is how I see it. Those are the projects I typically will at least lend a few hours to and help, advise them on what they should do. And that is where I think the Mandala token specific, bridge or integration with the exchange would be really good for both parties, because maybe you get into, a discount on these pre-sales based on how many tokens you hold. Or maybe the Mandala token itself, you use it to buy into this fractionalization of the asset and you get a discount. Things of that nature.
Mhm.
So I think that would be a differentiator there. I think everybody's just, in the early days of NFTs, we're so focused on art and not focused on the utility and functionality cases of it, that, we can learn from those mistakes from the other platforms that have launched and kind of bring a broader base in and maybe a more traditional financial model through NFTs, which is, I think, the main goal of the industry really in the next 2 to 3 years.
Couldn't agree more. And this is the last question from GM515. Would it be possible to create a dashboard on the exchange with detailed daily transaction statistics like volume/pair, trade/pair, the sum profit of trades, etc.? The data is there somewhere on the back end. Why not have it put on the front end so we could all see?
Sure. Well, as we know, as we know, our API has gone through multiple upgrades in the last year. And now we do have access to more data than ever before. And actually, our COO, Brad, is working with developers on extracting more data sets and, really building out that functionality right now. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Once we get those pulling and we have that done, we can absolutely set up leaderboards. We want to do that for Mandala Madness and for Safemoon spinoff as well. And we do want to pull some of that transactional, kind of fun data so that our community can see, kind of trading leaders, that kind of thing. So yes, those things are in the works for some scale, some degree, and we will release them as they are, available to be released.
Got it. So UK Kiwi wants to know if you guys plan on focusing more on the UK and EU market. After the US, he thinks that the UK and EU has the biggest potential for crypto.
We sure do. And actually, yeah, it's interesting you bring that up, because that is where our marketing partners that we brought in are based. And they have done a fantastic job of, kind of laying out the scene for us, where we should market, what kind of campaigns we could possibly run. UK specific, really, specifically because that's their home territory. And not to mention EU, they've done a great job there as well. And Australia, where we just actually finished our first live month-long plus marketing campaign all throughout Sydney. So we are exploring other options, yes, absolutely, in the UK, as well as throughout the EU. And this is, like I said, where I want our community to get involved as well. If you guys have connections with marketing companies that we might not be aware of, that are country specific, absolutely fire them our way, because we can make something work out and we can, gain more exposure from Mandala, which is always a nice thing to do.
This is an interesting one. Are you planning on having some different color schemes on charts for colorblind people?
Whoa, that's a great idea. I haven't thought of it. But yeah, I mean, I bet the green and red can get confusing. You know what? That's a great thought. I'll go to my development team, creative team with that, and see. Nothing's off the table. We like being innovative. So, cool thought. I like it.
Yeah, right on. Final question from UK Kiwi. Can we reduce fees for whales with high trading volume, which will help bring the volume to the exchange and push us up on the leaderboard?
Well, I think we've already done that with the spot exchange. 0.065% maker taker is pretty low, and it's not a huge threshold to get into that. But I do think that you have to look at it in the scope of we are still under some restrictions because we do partner with Binance Cloud. We will have some other fee structures as well for things that we build out that are more Mandala independent, that will probably cater to to traders of all sizes. But we do have a set of restrictions, at least for the spot exchange, that we do have to function under and remain competitive. Let's put it that way. But yeah, as we build out our third-party build-outs and Mandala controls all of them, there'll be some goodies that we throw out there for traders, absolutely, for high-volume traders and high-value traders. Sure.
Got it. Gattaca has one question, and I'm going to try to paraphrase this one. So this person wants to know what future goals, strategies, measures could be implemented by the team to assist MDX tokens' long-term growth and future success. In terms of future token functionality, broadly speaking, what can we as MDX holders really get excited about? Last but not least, how will the current ongoing build-outs positively affect the future use case for the MDX token, and what does it mean for holders?
Sure. And I think that's 3 questions rolled into one. And I think, I've addressed all of that, but let's recap. I mean, the only things that we're trying to provide this year, I guess, are DeFi platform, futures and margin trading, single asset staking, a bridge to do all that with, different liquidity pools, a lot of functionality. Let's put it that way. That's just off the top of my head. There's more. But, this all, every time you expand the functionality, right, by one key marker, especially here, and build that ecosystem properly, it definitely excites your community in crypto, right? And building all these things out, one by one, and building that full ecosystem is how you stay competitive, right? And like we talked about, the creative differentiators that we have is also how you stay competitive in an industry that is right now dominated by 3 or 4 or 5 exchanges. So I think, if we release these things and they work well, and there's a lot of excitement generated by them, and it's marketed properly, it's developed properly, it's going to bring our community a lot of excitement, and it's going to energize our token holders, and it's going to, I think, galvanize new people to join as well, because they're going to see, hey, I can do this. It's simple. It's fun. Community's engaging, and there's a lot of use for this token, right? And that's what our focus has always been on for 2022, is just keep building, right? Because our second year of operations, year 1 was really getting everything, the infrastructure for the spot exchange built properly, API documentation built properly, integrated properly, and now we're bringing in even the algo trading, the rebates on the algo trading bots, and then the competitions we run with them. So there's a lot of functionality for the tokens. So that's what 2022 is all about.
And I'm going to paraphrase this next question from Rakib, but basically he's saying, we know that Mandala's centralized exchange is secured by Binance's security protocols. However, with MandalaPHI, what steps are you taking as far as keeping your protocol safe and keeping that same standard that you have for your centralized exchange?
Sure. And that's a great question, right? Because we know that obviously the Binance security extends to their infrastructure, their systems. What we are doing is the Simple DeFi dev team they have built a system, a DeFi system platform that is a little different than other DeFi platforms where you see rug pulls happen and liquidity drains and things of that nature, and hacks. It is going to be, I think, innovative really in the industry, and in terms of its security protocols. So we're lucky to have that on our side and be the first, to have that implemented. That, like I said, they've been doing, dev build-outs 20, 25 years as a team, and in all kinds of financial and tech models, right? So they're awesome at that. Then the plugins, if you're plugging into MetaMask or you're plugging into Mu Wallet or something like that, MetaMask's never been hacked. There's things of that nature where, you don't see big hacks for these wallets. So those are secure. And then, of course, if you're transferring from Mandala wallet to there to put into the ecosystem, there's security there. Of course, there's a transfer from a Binance wallet over to Binance. Through the bridge, of course, we are doing our CertiK bridge audit as well as token audit to make sure that there are, no vulnerabilities or as low a risk as possible, right? Obviously, nothing is foolproof in this industry, but we want to be as secure as possible on all ends of, all transactional ends where a token could be stolen or hacked, where there could be a hack or a vulnerability. So we are going through a rigorous CertiK process to ensure that. And then, on the BSC token side as well, we're spinning up a liquidity pool with PancakeSwap, where it's going to be an MDX Binance BSC chain, rather, and a BNB chain, or a BNB token chain. So, we're taking as many steps as possible to make it as secure as possible and trustworthy as possible on each end.
Love that explanation. Terrence the Spider would like to know that in the past, it was communicated that Mandala would be launching new exclusive listings at a pace out of around one every 2 to 3 weeks. Is that still the plan, or have things changed?
So it was never that quick, but it, there was a pace that was put forward that we wanted it to be, and there's been some, for lack of a better word, there's been some roadblocks or kind of restrictions put in place. Not even a roadblock, just a restriction put in place across the Binance Cloud community because of dev availability on the Binance Cloud side, because of pace of work on their side, and things of that nature. So it's a little slower than we would have liked, but we roll with it. And we would, like I said, to pick up the pace once we do our own launch pad and we are kind of away from that Binance structure. And we would like to have more of a quick pace to those smaller tokens launching on our launch pad, or even mid-sized, bigger tokens launching if they would like to. So function in that regard. So our plan is to build it back up, build the pace back up, but we have to have our own ecosystem, built to do that.
Got it. We have one last question from your community, and this is again from UK Kiwi. Would it be possible for Mandala to have anonymous leaderboards? For example, trade of the week, trade of the month, trade of the day, etc. Also to see which coins people are making the most profits with.
Sure. I think that's all part of the data sets that we're working on pulling. Like I mentioned before, we are working with that dev team to, kind of build out what data we can pull. And we're going to, be creative in the way we use that. Because, more information we can deliver, the better, right? That's what it's all about. Just being informative, being available and being clear as much as possible in this, tech-related realm with your answers. So, and with the information being provided. So, yeah.
Beautiful. One more question from our community members, one of our community members. He wanted me to ask you, how does the team plan to come up with different, excuse me, let me rephrase this. Does the Mandala team plan on offering services in different languages so that you have a wider reach with respect to attracting different communities that don't necessarily speak English?
Great question, and absolutely is the answer. Our sweep to BNB functionality was the first piece of integration that we put in multiple languages. We are working on doing that for more of our site as well. And we are, working with our marketing team to bring in ambassadors in different languages. We have Hispanic influencers and ambassadors right now. We have people in the EU that are doing it in different languages for us as well. We have a Turkish ambassador. We have people across the globe that are, basically either Mandala community members or hired to do, videos and short snippets of educational content. And, yeah, absolutely. The more languages, the merrier. I mean, this is a global, crypto is global. We want to be global as well. We don't want to limit it to English. I mean, that cuts out subsects so much of the population on a global scale that it doesn't make any sense to do so. So yeah.
Agreed. And that question was from G Benga. Great question. He also wanted to know what kind of education materials you guys plan on putting out in the future. I know you mentioned, Joe, earlier, the Mandala Academy that's going to be coming down the line, and also the number of YouTube videos you guys have to show crypto newcomers exactly how they can use your exchange and exactly how they can get funds onto the blockchain and start trading.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's that's a great summary of where we are now. We also do have a lot of people in the community that are content creators, and I mean in the crypto community at large, that we're friends with, either from working with them for conferences or speaking with them, or just being friends, trading with them for years at this point. So we're definitely going to implement and integrate their content into our Blockchain Academy built out platform, because we're going to have that option. And we want it to be as educational and as informative as possible, because I think the more information, the more comfortable our people are trading, and that that stimulates a community, and that stimulates really a movement, which is what crypto is at its heart, and mass adoption, of course.
Couldn't agree more. And Joe, we are closing in towards the end of the AMA. I don't see any more community hands up. If anyone does have any questions, now it might be the time. Otherwise, Joe, it was real great pleasure talking today. I was very excited to talk to you. I was very excited to hear about the Mandala project. I've been following you guys for a while, so it's we're really honored at Whalecoin Talk to have you here and have you tell us about the ecosystem that you're building. With that said, for our listeners that are just tuning in late, can you give a quick summary of who you are, again, what you guys are building, and why people should come have a look at the ecosystem that Mandala has to offer?
Sure. Who I am, I'm the CEO of Mandala. I've been a regulatory lawyer in this industry for 7 years now, and tax and business structuring as well. So if you ever have a question about that, you can definitely shoot it over to my law firm. It still runs in Denver. 3 or 4 other good attorneys that are handling that, but I've trained them for years. Got in the industry as a trader really early. Really enjoyed it. And that's why I'm in here. So Mandala, obviously a Binance Cloud white label exchange, independently owned and operated. It was the first one to launch. We have almost 1,200 trading pairs. Just a spot exchange at this point. We're working on building out our DeFi platform right now, as well as futures and margin and other implementations and integrations this year. And, just please come join our community because we have a robust global community that is fun, engaging, and very interactive any given day.
I love it. Joe, thank you again for being with us. If you want to come back down the line and do another AMA that focuses more on MandalaPHI with Whalecoin Talk, I'd be happy to host you. It's been an honor to talk to another crypto enthusiast that's actually making real change and making strides in the crypto space. So again, thank you for being with us today, and I wish you the best of luck.
I appreciate it, Noah. And I mean, isn't that what we all are at heart? We're trying to do something great that, changes the way people view finance, right? I mean, that's why we're here, and that's what I love. And I will give a shout out to the devs, the full stack devs in this community. I'd love to do that. And just in general in the crypto community, what you guys build, keep building. It's incredible what you build on a daily basis. And God, the pace of technology and the pace of development and it's just so fluid the way you guys, do what you do. So thank you for making my job possible, really. So thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Joe. Have a great week and hope to be in touch soon.
Absolutely. And have a good one, Noah. Thank you.
Cheers, brother. Take care.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye. All right, Acti is going to come in and do a quick spin for the community members. Guys, thank you so much for joining that AMA. I was really excited about that one. Community members killed it with the questions. Joe killed it. We all did a great job. So we're really happy to have you here at Whalecoin Talk.
Thanks. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm putting up the wheel here, and happy Joe hasn't left yet because it's very rare to have people with this amount of knowledge and this amount of experience in the space. So if you're still here, Joe, and you want to take one last question from me, I'm just curious, like, what can the small guy do? Because you've been talking about regulation and all this sort of stuff. So what can the average trader? What can I do? Like, if I just like NFTs and trading and all this, how can I get involved to sort of make sure that the regulation that's getting put in place is fair, at least?
Sure. I think definitely there's a couple of things you can do. First, as a trader, pick your projects, research your projects, know what you're trading. No substitute for doing your own research, right? That's what it is. I mean, EYOR is the best thing you can do in this industry. As a crypto enthusiast, sit down and speak with your local Congress people, state senators, local senators, like whoever you can get a hold of, your mayor, whatever it is, because they're probably not as educated as you are in the crypto space. And I think, education, like I said, is key. So if you can, petition for that, bring communities together, build a, something as easy as like an Eventbrite where you put on something every month, and it's just a crypto get together, a crypto chat for your local community. Education's key. That's a super easy way to get involved. And, it's something that I push for because that's what we need at the end of the day.
Yeah, I love it. So basically, if you're involved, get more involved, and we'll see a better future together. Yeah, I love it. Thank you.
Exactly right. Yep, you're welcome.
All right, and I've also spun the wheel here twice for two of our members in the audience, and we'll post the winners in our main chat a little later today, guys. So thank you for being here, Joe. Thank you to the Mandala team for for agreeing to be here with us, and everybody for participating. This has really been a great one, and yeah, awesome job as always, Noah.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. We have another AMA coming up in about 20 minutes, so stay tuned. Hosted by our main man, Glenn. So take care for now. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Again.